But for now, what media experiences have you had, Rebecca?
Hi, John. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm actually reading the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis.
That goes right into our topics. Yeah, that's great.
I've been meaning to read this for a while because I wanted to see if it would be appropriate for our 12-year-old who's a voracious reader. And
He's also ferocious.
and I read it a long time ago in my 20s, and I like even underlined things. And so it's really, really great. I'm maybe a quarter of the way through, maybe halfway through. And if you've never heard of it before, just a really quick synopsis. It's the idea is that there are these two demons writing letters to each other, and one is the uncle, sort of mentoring his nephew in how to distract this new Christian from his relationship with God, basically.
Hmm.
And so immediately this guy becomes a Christian, and then they're just constantly looking for ways to trick him, to discourage him, to get his eyes off of God and to not trust God. And but it's written in a very like hilarious kind of way that's um, sort of hard to describe.
Yeah.
But it's also super educational. Um, the elder demon, the uncle, is saying, "Oh, it's good what you found out about his mother." Like he has this tense relationship with his mother. So then he encourages him to like use that to full advantage.
Right.
Um, make sure that he notices little things about his mother that he doesn't like, and
Hmm.
assumes that she does that on purpose, and um, lots of little moments like that. And then he's like, and make sure he prays for her soul and for her faults instead of actually compassionately praying for her rheumatism or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So it's really cool, and it's really eye-opening. You're reading fiction, right? It's entertaining, it's funny, it's strange and clever, but at the same time, you're like, oh, oh. I was thinking some strange thoughts about somebody the other day. Maybe that was
Yeah. I've had thoughts like that. Yeah, exactly.
maybe there was a wormwood and a screw tape messing with my brain.
Right.
So it's really good. I recommend it. Um, of course.
It's
What made
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, obviously C.S. Lewis, right? And he always infuses some doctrinal study into it, like something deeply doctrinally important to know. Like just the fact that demons can manipulate you requires some doctrine, which I know I've mentioned This Present Darkness before, but that's also a good book to kind of get a practical understanding of how demons might work in the lives of people or angels. And it's quite practical in many ways.
yeah.
And so as you can see, like the wonders of Screwtape versus This Present Darkness, Screwtape is essentially a masterclass in manipulation.
Mm.
It's how to manipulate the mind of man, and it's far more subtle than you'd think. You'd
Yeah.
think it was something like, oh, push them this direction or that direction, take things from them. Because, in a sense, Job is like that, right? It's kind of like, okay, well, all you have to do is be given the reins to destroy someone's life, and then you can just, you don't have to be subtle about it, just start destroying. But this is the situation instead of Job, in which you're not given the right to do whatever you want, right? You're given more of like the basic availability to the human being to tempt them and to mess with their brain, which I
Mm.
would argue most people can be subject to this sort of temptation or I guess you could call it oppression, right? Even if you're a good Christian, you can be subject to this oppression. And that's why I love the way he does his story because he doesn't do it as though a non-Christian is only the one who is subject to this kind of attack, spiritual attack.
Mhm.
Actually, no. Actually, the bread and butter of demons is messing with Christians,
Mhm.
not with the worldly. The worldly have already been, and I think this is even in Screwtape, the world have already been uh, well on their way to the destination they're supposed to go, that
Mhm.
these demons are sending people. So very little has to happen to just continue. It's like a stone rolling downhill. You don't have to give it much of a push. It's already going there, right? The only reason you would do that is if it starts to turn the other direction and come away. That's when you really need to give it a push. And it's also the people who are trying to make a difference to other people's lives, Christians, who also have to be tempted and manipulated into stopping doing that. You know, for whatever manipulative reasons, believe that it doesn't matter. Believe that you don't have a voice like Moses believed. Believe that, Satan's more powerful than you. And so what does it matter? Believe that they don't need to hear about Christ, right? Because Christ could reach them without the gospel. Believe this, believe that. There's so many different ways that Satan can tempt the Christian into being ineffectual and useless for the kingdom, and most importantly, to not listen to God and instead listen to these other tempting voices, right? Which is essentially what happened in the garden. So that's really always the primary struggle happening. Do you listen to this person or do you listen to this person? Who do you trust, right? And of course, the devil tricks us all into believing that this other voice is not the voice of a devil, it's the voice of you. It's the voice of your own heart, it's the voice of your own mind. And so that's one of the primary ways of manipulating. You're putting thoughts into this person's head very similarly to the thoughts they would have already, but it's just a little tweaked, right? Very subtle techniques. And so Christians really should read it. But I understand if many are afraid of reading it. It is, after all, about demons, and many people will be scared just of that subject. So I can understand some people refraining from reading it, but understand that C.S. Lewis is a great theologian. He's a scholar. He knows what he's talking about, um, and he's highly respected in the Christian world. So I don't think you have much to worry about as it comes to doctrine and theology and things like this.